It takes a village to raise a vow. Today, we're speaking with therapist and show producer Tann Moore.
You can live a life in flow where your deepest heart's desires become reality.
You are here to contribute through your essence, fall deeper in love with your life and the journey that you are on.
Take what works, ditch the rest, and always stay set to love.
Thank you for being a part of this community. We're all designed to live in flow. So let's go.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Tann. So happy to see you.
Good to see you too. Always good to see you.
I love your show. I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Well, and I want to know more about it. That's what I want to talk about today. So let's just, for people who don't know you, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, a little touch up on that, little background, and then like where this idea came from, what it's about, you know, all of that. I want to dive into this because I love this project and what it is that you're doing.
Okay. So first of all, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tann Moore, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I am really passionate about helping people first and foremost, but families, individuals, and then couples. And so for me, I really wanted to do something meaningful for couples and families and building families, and I wanted it to be, you know, interesting, interactive, fun. But I didn't want to kind of be this talking head on a screen, talking to people or having people talk to me and quote unquote fixing them. So we were kind of, you know, just toying around with this idea of talking to couples who have had success with their relationships during the pandemic, all the challenges, you know, of this last year. So that's kind of how the idea was born. So Vow Village is, you know, the tag is a fun new show designed for couples by couples to create a couple of forevers while learning some practical yet effective tools along the way. So that's kind of what we're doing at Vow Village.
I love it. I don't know where, did you say, is it in your intro or somewhere where it was like, it was almost like the line, if you're looking for Jerry Springer, you're in the wrong place. Like it was something to that effect. Like this is not that kind of show.
Yeah. Well, I love the positivity of it and learning by great examples of people that have marriages that do work. And it was just so fun loving and laughing and sharing. And I just think sometimes we can learn so much more about what does work instead of it's already been hard times. Tann, you're ingenious. This is like the best idea.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Shelley. I wanted it to be full of joy and hope. And, you know, one of the things that I said is, you know, it might sound like a cliche, but I really want this idea of hope, like people who want to be together, who want to thrive together. Like there are other couples out here doing it. And, you know, we kind of toyed around with the idea of bringing in like some celebrities, like celebrity couples, but we thought, what about just doing real people? Like, you know, like real, you know, not to say the celebrities aren't real people, but a lot of times I think that when we see celebrities, we kind of don't relate in a way that it's like, they have access to things that I don't have access to.
Right.
But we wanted to have people who were like everyday people. I think that's a better reference than real people because we're all real people. But I think everyday people making it work, making their families work, making love work, and getting through these challenges in a way where they feel like they're successful and can maybe help other people. So
I want to know from you.
I'm sorry.
Oh gosh. Do you want to ask your question first?
No, I just wanted to say about clarity about the celebrity people also. They have a lot of other things that come into play on a everyday life also that complicates things. So sometimes it's even harder when you have all that chaos going on in a relationship to have. Yeah. So I think just like you said, the people, the everyday people, it's a little bit more relatable because celebrities have their hands full in so many ways. So
many ways, in so
right?
many ways. They're so multifaceted. They're, and they are, to your point, Shelley, sometimes, the focus is more on the career. Like when you see someone who's a name, you're kind of associating what they do with what you're seeing them, you're seeing their face and you're going, oh, I saw them in this show. And what we really wanted to do is highlight love and relationships and connection. And so we wanted that to be the star. We wanted the love and the relationship and the connection to be the star.
So I have two questions. One is about the process and the other is about the show itself. So I'll give them to you both and then you can answer them however you want.
Okay.
One is I want to know what you've learned, you personally as the producer of the show, from taking an idea that you got during this pandemic to executing on it. So what's a lesson learned for that entrepreneur out there, that person with that show idea or that whatever idea? But on the flip side, I want to know actually working with these couples and actually sitting down and editing and putting this all together. Were you surprised by anything or did you learn anything through your work with the couples and the other therapists on the show? So those are my two questions for you, whichever one you want or both.
Okay. So the first one was, I think you were talking about like a takeaway, right?
Yeah. Like what's something that you've learned, like, wow, doing this process for me personally, I've learned blah, blah, blah.
For me personally, I've learned how our differences make us like kind of the same. And so let me clarify that. So all of the couples are very different, but in their differences, it really kind of shows you that, anything that you thought you were being challenged with, like you thought you were having some unique challenge in your relationship. Yeah. It really does just dress up in a different detail. It's like, but maybe your challenge is communication. And our challenge is, time management. But it really does look like, how do we navigate it? How do we get around it? How do we come to the middle? How do we create compromises? And how do we grow around it? So I think for me, really seeing like how differences kind of speak to you in a unique way to get you to a common solution, right? So that was one thing. And then the process of it all, working with these couples, it was, wow, it was very enlightening for me. I mean, I think sometimes you're in a field and you're helping people do things, but for me as a married person, I was able to look at these other married people and look at what they're using to be successful and go, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of that and put that back in the little database right here. And I'm going to use some of those tools as well. So for me, it was just an overall journey of like give and take, offering these tools to people, supporting the things that they're doing that are working. And what I also say in the intro, which I really believe, is that everybody in the room is an expert. They're Vow experts. And, myself and the other two hosts, we're wellness experts. But at the end of the day, we all bring something to the common goal of thriving together and growing together.
Wow. Now, Tann, do you have set things or a certain way that you do the show, or does it kind of flow into what it's going to be? Or do you have like a certain way that the show is run?
So the show is to clarify, great question. It's a docuseries. So what you're seeing week to week looks like separate episodes, but it's really a long, set of sessions, right? So it's all going to just kind of connect together and they're going to be themes. So what you see in episode 1 is really more of an intro of the couples that you're going to be getting to know more about. And in episode 2, this is the first, you guys are hearing this first. Episode 2, you're going to hear really more about who they are as individuals and how they bring that together, right? So you're going to hear a lot about how they have certain themes and ideas about life as individuals and how they make it work. So each episode will have a theme. But it really is like a collective. It's all connected together, like a documentary.
I see.
how many shows do you have? How many episodes? And they're all on YouTube, right? Is that where people can find them, or is there somewhere else as well?
So YouTube, you can go, YouTube, you just search Vow Village. But also if you're following Vow Village on Facebook, the links will be right there. And then of course, Instagram, Vow Village, all of that. So it's very accessible. And then if you guys have any trouble, contact Shelley and Eva, who will contact me, and we'll make sure you get to see the show.
Yes,
please share it, subscribe to the YouTube channel, all that good stuff. But currently we're planning to do 1 episode a week for the month of March.
Okay. Now, is it already filmed with these couples? So you sat down, you filmed it, and now you're putting it out in these little sections. And then is the plan to maybe do some more or evaluate, or what are your thoughts after this? I know that you always have things kind of brewing.
Yeah. So to answer your question, yes, we've already filmed. We've also, what you're seeing is stuff that's already been filmed, produced, edited, and all that good stuff a while ago. I've been working on this project for some time now, but then what's next is, of course, future episodes. So continue to watch. But after that, and in between that, kind of peppered in between, you're going to be hearing from the actual couples. You're going to be hearing from the hosts on the show with some lives. We're going to be doing some Instagram lives and some separate promos. You're going to hear from the editor. You're going to hear from the DP. You're going to hear from the guy who did the music on the show. So you're going to hear from everybody involved in the process, kind of sprinkled in. And then as we wrap up episode 4, and then after, you'll just kind of see us continue the Vow Village idea, the concept, which is couples communicating together, sharing tools, sharing, an inspiration to continue the relationship's growth. And if there are challenges, how do you figure that out? And the cool thing is each host, myself, Dr. Ryan, and Reverend Leon, we're all going to be accessible. We're all going to be tapping in and answering questions for people who want answers to questions in a real way. And it'll just be the village. We'll all kind of create this village.
Wow, you're creating community in a real way.
Yes.
That's beautiful, Tann. I love it.
Now, Tann, as far as this, I mean, I love this theory with the couples and their marriages, but couples also start families. Do you see anything in the future of how couples would come together as parents? Do you see it evolving to, even once you do this, that maybe you might do something with like full family and all of that?
Yes. So we have some ideas regarding how the show grows and how it looks different down the road. So yes to that. And I have a story that I want to tell you guys really quickly. Please. So, while producing this, we've been in the pandemic for a year, but we had kind of seen a little bit of relief and things were shifting. And so when we were about to go into production, everything was okay. Some of the things had opened up a bit. And then right before production hit, there was a second wave of restrictions that came in. And so we had to push back filming. And so initially this was going to be a very interactive show. What you were going to see is the couples doing exercises together in the same room, doing things led by the hosts, and they were going to be doing something very interactive. So what we ended up with is, okay, well, this message still needs to get out. How do we do this? Honor COVID restrictions, keep everyone safe. And so this is what you see is the couples being in their own little pod, right? Mm-hmm. So moving forward, as we kind of come out of this, you're going to see a show, that's much more interactive with the couples that we're discussing things with. And yes, you're going to see it grow into seeing more with their families. And you're going to see other kinds of Vow Village representations. The goal is to get it to grow to other cities. We have some couples from other cities now that are already chiming in and wanting us to film there. So once these things change a bit, we're going to be growing the show.
That's fantastic.
Tann, I am so proud of you, and way to go. Just like following what excites you, really using all of your gifts and pulling them together. You're such a great example of that, of like taking your background and theater and background in television, film, like writing, like just your love for all of that. And then your therapy and everything there. And then even like the podcast and everything there. It's just like seeing all of these aspects of you come together into this. And then the way you've just brought these other people in. It's so beautiful. And just thank you so much for doing the work, putting in and pushing through COVID to bring something really beautiful and new into the world, even in a dark time. So kudos to you for that, for not just sitting in your corner and wallowing during this time, but for like, okay, fine. We have another restriction. How can we figure this out? Oh, we got this. Okay, let's figure this out. It was like, you just kept maneuvering around through the little obstacles, and here it is. So I honor you, and I'm grateful to know you and have you in my life as a friend, and just, wanted to let you know that I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Shelley. It means a lot, and I love you guys. Are always so supportive, and you both have always like loved me. You guys know how my brain works. It's always like on, like the creative is always going. How do we create? But how do we help? How do we do something? Like how do we bring it all together? So thank you for that. Thank you for being on today and talking about the show. I love you guys.
We'll have you back. You're going to come back. We want to hear more.
Okay, how can people find me?
Yep.
So you can find the show Vow Village at Vow Village on Instagram and Facebook. And then how can you find Tann Moore? At Tann Moore, Instagram and Facebook. I'd love to hear from you. If you're looking for resources for therapy, if you're looking for support and encouragement to be a healthy couple, reach out to me. I'd love to help.
Thank you, Tann. Thank you, best friend, for being here today. You want to take us out, Shelley?
Sure, no problem. You can find us at settolove.com. Also, if you have any questions or if you'd like to find Tann and for some reason you can't find her, let us know. We're at settolove at podcast at gmail.com. Tann, we love you. We're supporting you. We're always here. And thank you so much for today. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. And
see you, friend, and hit the bell.
Hit the bell.